Let's make some customizations to the fortress level of the Sunless Citadel from the Yawning Portal. Welcome to my channel. I focus on tabletop role-playing games, video games, and science fiction. I drew up the fortress level, and if I was going to run this as a game, one of the problems that I have is that players could already have a copy of this. So for me, I would want to make some changes, which is why I would want an electronic copy. So we take a look at this, and this is my personal views about how to do things. I'm going to make one minor change. Well, first off, let's do the first thing. Let's speed up editing a little bit and fix one of the things that that bothers me right now. Little minor cleanup, edit, quick move. See if I can do this. All right. First off, I'm going to pick, what I want to do is I want to move the 7 up. It's a little bit in the wrong place. I want to select this label here, but I want to, the easiest way to handle this is if I freeze all the other layers. So that freeze all of them, and actually then I can just say okay. So now if I edit, quick move, I should be able to just select the 7 and move it up. Let's move it up here. But that was just one little minor irritant that I had from when I drew this. But if I just take a look at this objectively, and this is one of the problems that I've mentioned. I actually called the video about connectivity. If we look at this, you come down the stairs into this room, and what you really want is you want to get, if you're going to go through this dungeon, you have to get here. So this has a very low connectivity. That means that there's only one way in and one way out. And that means that if I start going down this path down here, I have to come all the way back up here. There's no, this section here, if I'm wondering, or there's a, sorry, that's one way to get into the entrance here, but you have to actually, this is the exit is up here in room 41. So you have to come all the way through here. So this is sort of a problem to me because the dungeon is not very well connected. The best way I would explain that is, in today's world, if I built this, would the fire marshal freak out? That's sort of what would he say, that you don't have enough exits and entrances, which is very true. So one of the things I learned is that I've been gaming is I've always created more entrances and more exits and more connectivity inside the dungeon. So inside the dungeon, so you can get from point A to point B, because people never seem to get there. It's just something that they never do. So I'm going to, and the other thing that I have here is we have room 16A, 16B, 16C, which if you read them, they're quote empty rooms. And I'm going, I don't believe in having empty rooms. So I want to make some changes. So the first thing I'm going to do here is let's turn off. Oh, we got the sheet effects off. So, but we see that we want going from there to there. So let's turn on the grid. You can't see it with this background, but that's if I turn off the back. If I go, let's see, if I go here and turn off the. Oh, okay. We want to thaw all, but we want to hide the background. So that just gives us there. So now we can actually see I don't know if you're going to be able to see the little dots, which are the 5 foot dots, 5 foot grid. That you may not be able to see them unless you're running in a 4K resolution. So here we go. I'm going to pick a corridor. I want to add a corridor. I want a 5 foot wide corridor here. And I don't want any end walls, so I just want to go from here to here, and we're okay. So now we're done. But we've got these, if I redraw this, we'll see that the walls are there. So there's the walls. We've got this little corridor which is blocked off. So now we can come over to the doors. Let's actually, this is one of the things I should do, is I should set my layer to secret. And I come to the selected door and I go, I'm going to put some secret doors here and here. And we're going to pick S, turn off snap, and put S here and here. So then if I redraw this, now I've got a secret doors connecting this room down to here in a logical place, logical fashion, and it adds a little bit more connectivity to the dungeon. That addresses a minor little thing because there are several secret passages down in this area. They actually show up with this. You see the little teeny red dots, which are red S's. So we'll finish with that. So, but the bigger issue is that there's no easy connectivity from here over to here. So one approach that I would do, I'm not going to do that right now because that's a little bit too much, is to put a sublevel. To put a sublevel under here, and then you could pick a room like here and connect it over to a secret passageway over here, or maybe even not a secret passageway, just a door into a corridor going down which goes over to here, so that we can add some connectivity underneath. This is the problem I see with many dungeons. Particular, you've got to do the long haul through the dungeon, which there are reasons for doing that, but you also if you make it so that there are multiple paths through there, it's like more of an open world. In an open world, you don't tell your characters, oh, you have to go from here to here. And this dungeon tends to sort of railroad you, that you have to go from here all the way up over to here to get down to the lower levels. And which is, to me, it's a little bit, and you have some strange things here, like this little, it's almost like this was the map and you have there should be something here and there's not, which to me that's a little bothersome, but I go, okay, nothing terrible. But if I was a characters and I come walking through here, you would see this structure here, and I would obviously as a character come into here and go, why is this shape here this way? Am I missing? And you know, the other question is that I can, am I missing something? Is there, you know, and that's an interesting question. Did I miss a door or something like that? And there might be, but I checked here and there isn't. So how can we improve the connectivity of the dungeon? One approach is to do something from room 25A. We actually have a space here that we could do something with. And we could actually take advantage of a mistake. When I drew this up, I mentioned this earlier, that I actually put this little piece of wall here. You notice how it's a little bit different because I put a door here, and actually I kind of like that. So what happens is I'm going to erase this wall. No, escape. Let's redraw that. See if I can select that again. Erase this wall. One entity picked, do it. So I erase that wall, and I can take and put a door here. Now then, let's snap. Well, okay, so now there's a way to, okay, let's unsnap. How was it? Place shift control rotate allows me to rotate this, and I can put my door there. finish. So now now I've added a door that I think, first off, when I first drew it, I made a mistake that I put the door there, and I can do that. So that adds a little bit more connectivity here, and so on. But I still haven't addressed the major connectivity issues. So, like we have this right down here. What they did is they entered a secret passageway, which is, if you read the description, this is a 3-foot corridor. So it's a tunnel that's only 3 foot wide and 3 foot high there to get from there to there. But we have some room up here, and we could easily, let's see if I can zoom in a little bit. I could actually put another. We've got this hallway here, which does something. But let's just put a hallway. So what happens is, yeah, we'll go a 5-foot wide corridor. So no wall ends. So we'll put a corridor, and we want to snap. So we're going to want let's put a hallway starting here. Comes up here. Comes over this way here. Let's go to room 30 here, and comes down to here. Now we're finished. And we come in and we pick up a door, and we put it here. We put a door here. So let's redraw. And yeah, okay, that actually deleted the wall. So now we've added another corridor, which improves the connectivity a little bit, that I can get from all the way from over here without the need to go through all these rooms. Now this means if I want to, I can always put creatures into this, but this allows, first off, it changes the dungeon in simple ways from what the characters are expecting. Because if the players have bought the dungeon, then then they know exactly how things are going. And so if we just take a look up here, what have we got? Now we've got an entrance from here. You got 2 entrances into room 40. What I would kind of like to have is yet another entrance into room 40. But we have this, and we have this interesting space here that we could actually do something with. So if I come in here again with a corridor, and we're just going to go here, we're going to put it starting here. Let's go out to here, go down to here, come across here, and then we connect it there. So now if I place this, now I can place a door here and a doorway here. So we've finished up with the door. Let's redraw and see what it does. That's a little, okay, so we have there's a little gap. If we're going to get in there, we should actually, that's something we should fix. What happened is, I should have actually made the wall a little bit farther, but you see that there's a tiny little gap, the floor that's there, but I'm not going to adjust that at this moment. That's one that always would take me quite a bit of time to fix. I'm not, yeah, I can wonder, but I've changed this, but we haven't really changed how you get from one point to the other point. So we have, let's take a look. One of the ways to get there from one point to the other point is we have this area here, and then we have this whole this hallway here, which is a little strange. So what happens? Can I erase? Let's see. Let's pick erase. Come on. Pick erase. And if I pick this up, Pick two entities. So let's do it. So we've erased that. Now then, we've got a doorway here. So now we can make some interesting changes. So I can go, all right, let's put another corridor, 5-foot corridor. We're going to put the 5-foot corridor actually starts here, comes up to here, goes over this way to here, and then connects here. Now, I can put a doorway. Let's fix that. It's rotated slightly. So let's make that, get that back. So we put it here. We tell it to redraw. We have the doorway. And now we're going to snap this end secret, but this end is not. So let's zoom out a little bit. We zoomed in, sorry. Want to zoom out a little bit because we have this doorway here, and where is that going to go? And so we have a doorway here, which the interesting thing is, all right, so let's just make another room. Might as well. We put, let's snap. So we take this to here, finish, redraw. And now I need to put what's called a wall cutter. I can pick that up. I can snap that here. No, Control Z. Why is the wall cutter there? And we redraw. So now that wall fixes there because we finished. So now oh, interesting. I've got a partial wall stuck here. Let's see if I can erase that. That's do it. Let's see if there's, yeah, that fixes that up. So then we have room 24 still, but then the corridor comes to, this is the back end of the entering to this room, which gives another entrance here. Now we've changed the path subtly from what's going on because we've added new pathways. We've done some things like that. So we can if I've got a soft copy, I can rearrange a bunch of things that are there that make it just a little different from what the players expect if they have a copy of this thing. And this is where I'm changing the map. And this is why I like to have an electronic copy of the map. And we still have, what we have this long corridor here. And to me, okay, so we've got a long corridor. And did I miss something? Here? Because I got a corridor that comes down and ends. So this is an interesting question. So let me take a look here. Sunless Citadel. Let me pull up the original scan. So that this just helps see if we get this. And this is the scan of the, I just scanned the map. So we notice, okay, so that there's the 16 to 19. So actually that's an error in my drawing, is that this corridor should open, if I tab between that, this should actually open up into here. And because if I switch between there and there, we say here's room 16 and it should actually just open into there. That was a mistake. So let's fix that. So that we have a 5-foot wall cutter here, which yeah. Is that a 10 or is that a 10-foot wall cutter? That's 10 feet. So finish. The 10 foot wide, redraw, yeah, so that this corridor opens up in here. So we have this corridor coming straight down into here. But this brings up interesting questions. I've got this long corridor. I could add a couple more rooms, which would allow, or I could, let's see, let's zoom out. Now, this whole structure here causes some interesting problems, but that's, you know, that's, you can read in the description that's there, because that means I can't connect up to here. But what I could do is I could say that this, cut the size of this down and say that it slopes down deeply, and, or yeah, let's do that. So let's zoom in here. This was just my attempt at drawing this. So if I go, oh, let's erase this. And we do it. Redraw. And what happens is that we now are going to, this is the default cave. And we don't want to, you don't want to snap. You want that one rough hewn. So we go here to here to here to here to here to here. Just give it a rough shape here. Okay, so and then we redraw, make sure that's there. And now what we can do is instead it comes in and we add just a ladder. And we can go not like that. Or we can just say that there's a ladder going down. Finished. And what this does is this gives us a little bit more room, so we can do another connectivity. So if let's zoom in a little bit from here to here. And I can come in and go, give me a 5-foot corridor. Okay. And I do want to snap from here, coming down to here and over to here. And then we want to go back and put a door here and a door here. And I'm going to say that changes the connectivity of the dungeon rather significantly, because in essence, I don't need to go through in essence, I can go up through here. I've added some other passages into various places, and the dungeon this is the same dungeon per se, but I've made some interesting little changes. And if I was going to, so this is the way down, I would argue you could put another entrance down here or something like that, so that people get through the dungeon. As like I've said, I've drawn up my big dungeon, and I've talked about that before. One of the problems I had with it was that we'd spend months going through a level when we were gaming once a week. And that was interesting, but to me, it's a bit more fun if people get down to the deeper levels of the dungeon, which was one of the things that I always wanted, was people to get down to the deeper depths of the dungeon. And we would play for years, and they would only be down on the 4th or the 5th level at most. And they wouldn't be down where I'd run out originally down to level 11. And getting them down there was very, very rare, so I spent a lot of time, and it was just something that I wanted, was more connectivity. So let's save this. And let's see what this looks like if I turn on sheet effects. Oh, let's say, okay, it's not going to redraw because, or, well, yeah, it will redraw. But I wanted to wanted to turn on the background. So this gives us an idea what it's going to look like with the shadows and so on. So we've added some corridors. We've made some changes that this is now deeper with some sort of ladder to get down. What I really want to do is I want to come into wall features and show all, thaw all, except for the scan. We'll keep that hidden. And that will redraw it so that we now have the background that's there. So I've made some changes to this. This no longer will play exactly the same. We've got more corridors. We created at least one new room. Where was that? This room here. So that one actually, if we're going to, we should label that. That's room 42, which wasn't in the original. So if I take the properties, is that still 5 feet? Okay, 5 feet. So room 42, and I should turn off snap when I put these down. And it's probably go onto the, let's see, let's make sure we go onto the right text labels. So let's get that going to 42. So now I've added a room, and I've added some corridors. So this won't play exactly the same because I've changed the map. So players can no longer predict exactly the way the map was, because I've made some changes. And like I said, I would start to put in, the next step I would do is to create a sub-level and put some connectivity, or even with this one, you could create a super level, where it's a partial level above that I can do some more connectivity and actually add some more rooms there, which allows different ways to get through the dungeon, so that you can get from this entrance here over to this exit here in more ways than one. Which is one of the complaints I have, is that, it becomes, the argument is, are you railroading? Well, the original map, there were some paths, but you had one entrance and one exit. Personally, I would think this would be a perfect place to add another entrance, so that there would be multiple ways to get into this. And the other thing is that right now we have this exit, which isn't defined, and then this exit, there's an exit up in here. I would like to have a couple more exits. Put an exit here and connect it up in some way to this, to get down to the lower levels. But again, that changes the next level. But that's why I want to have an electronic copy, so I can make the changes. Or if I'm going to play this, I'm going to take what they have and make my own copy so I can change it. And if I save this, I can always do some interesting, let's do file, save. Let's see if I can do this. This will be interesting to do. See, is edit. You should be able to reshape mirror. So if I say I don't want, well, okay. So let's okay. So if I do, all right. So if I do this, edit. Where did reshape, mirror, all. Oh, it said no. Now 400 entities picked. Do it. Mirror line start. Okay, so we want to snap. We're going to say here. Mirror line and there. And I'm not sure if it's doing something because the cursor didn't oh, there we go. The cursor's changing. Oh, and of course we crashed campaign cartographer. That's an interesting way to end. But the idea would be is I should be able to select this and mirror the whole thing. And now I've made a change, at least as far as the players are concerned. It really isn't that big of a change for me because I'm just running the game. But now I've switched it. But if they're looking at the map, unless they realize that I have mirrored things, that it would get them totally. It would make it difficult to do that. Now it's probably because I've done something wrong or whatever, and I crashed Campaign Cartographer 3. So tell me what you think about this. Do you modify the maps when you play the adventures? That's one of the questions that I have. Do you make it different from what they are expecting so your players can't be completely prepared for what was there? Thank you for watching my video. I look forward to learning what you think about this video. Let me know in the comments below. I appreciate all your comments. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like the video, give me a thumbs down. I appreciate both forms of feedback. If you're new here and would like to subscribe, you can click on the icon on the left. If you're interested, there's more content on the right.